back. Bend your knees, put your feet on the mat. Oh, lordy, lordy, here we go. And my feet are a little wider than my hips and my thighs are resting on each other. And this should really feel okay to the lower back. And if it doesn't, then adjust where your feet need to be so that that lower back feels good. And then just arrive, right? So it's one thing to get your body down to the mat. And it's entirely another to get your head there as well. So once you're there, just rest into the mat and just take a moment to notice how you feel. Notice your physical body. And then notice how you feel mentally and emotionally. And then we will begin to just cultivate that breath. So check in with the breath, see how that is. And we're going to play with lengthening that breath again. So when you're ready, just resting here, no movements. Begin to even out the breath. And find a count, an even count that is comfortable for you today. And, lying on our backs, very little effort here. So this should feel easy, right? The even breath should feel easy at this point. If it feels good, if you're counting to a 4, and you want to try taking it to a 5 counter, if you're at 3, take it to 4, just seeing how it feels. So maybe do 4 rounds of breath at the next higher count, see how that goes. And then just release any counted breath and breathe naturally. And then we'll take a moment to set an intention for this class, bringing right palm to heart center and left palm on top of that, and just whatever is important to you today, whatever is speaking to you, bring that to the front of your mind, the front of your heart. And then just release those arms back down by your side. And we're staying here on our backs. We'll bring our feet a little closer together though, so now the feet and the thighs are parallel rather than thighs resting on each other. And we're going to bring our arms down alongside the body. We're going to move back to that slow and counted breath. So when we're ready on the inhale, we start to float the arms up and over. And this is that 4, 5, or 6 count inhale. And as we exhale, we float it all the way back down. Slow movements, slow breath. And we'll do it again. And then just pause. Notice how that little bit of movement, that slow breath, sits with you when we're just still on our backs, not doing anything, not standing. And now we're going to add on. So this is normal breathing right now, but we're going to add on. We're going to go back to that slow breath. So let's extend the legs long now. Legs are long, let the toes flop open. We're still just doing our normal old breath here. Arms down alongside the body. Palms are down. Now, as we switch to that slow breathing here, as we lift up the arms overhead, we're going to flex the feet, engage the legs. So legs are long, feet are flexed as if we're standing. And then as we exhale, we float everything back down, soften the legs and the feet. We'll do 2 more like that. And as you complete that second exhale, just release the counted breath, come back to your natural breath. And we'll bend one knee at a time, put the feet on the mat, and then bring in your right knee. Bring it in, turn the right foot at the ankle. Go in both directions, point and flex, especially after all that wonderful standing work we just did. And then lengthen your left leg. So we're pulling in the right thigh, right shin. Your hands can either be behind the thigh or on top of the shin. It doesn't matter. Just bringing that in for a breath or two. And then we're going to take that knee, right knee into left hand, cross it over, let it rest on that bolster on your left side. So taking a soft, gentle twist here, making yourself comfortable in this twist. Breathing here. And just your regular breath here, just to bring a little twist into that spine. And then we will untwist. Let's put both feet back onto the mat. Knees are bent. If you need to lift up your hips and make any shifts or adjustment, go ahead. And then take that cushion and put it to the right side of you. We'll hug in the left knee now, turning left foot at the ankle, pointing, flexing, rocking, all those good things. And then we extend the right leg long. Now, the right leg is on the floor, left knee's coming in, however you want to do it, whether it's behind the thigh, on top of the shin, doesn't matter, whatever feels better for you. Take a breath or two of our normal breath pattern here. And then we cross left knee into right hand, oh yes, and cross it over to rest on that cushion. And then we'll uncross. Put that left foot back on the mat, bend right knee, put right foot on the mat. And again, if you need to lift up and shift the hips, not a bad idea. We're going to take one hand on top of each knee now. One hand on top of each knee. So the knees are coming in, the feet are lifted, the knees are coming in. If you want to get that lower, give that lower back a little bit of love here, a little rock side to side. That's always a nice thing to do. But with one hand on top of each knee, our arms are long. We're going to take an inhale here. And as we exhale, the elbows bend, the knees come in. So that's the movement. And then we're going to move it with the longer breath. So the long, slow, 4, 5, or 6 count inhale. Arms are long. As we exhale, we start to bend the elbows, bringing the knees in. Inhaling that slow breath. So here we are in this pose. We're bringing a little symmetry back into the body after those twists. And we'll do 2 more. And then one at a time, when you finish that last exhale, release the feet to the floor, one at a time, just being kind to the lower back. Pause here, normal breathing. And we're going to roll to one side or the other, doesn't matter which. Coming to the side, noticing, we're just going to, find equilibrium as we come to our side. And then we push ourselves up to seated. Moving slowly, we're very kind. Restorative yoga, very kind to ourselves, right? We good? Give me a thumbs up. You good? Okay, now we're going to make our way to standing if you're ready, Carol. So we'll make our way up to standing, however is best for you. And these are the Thich Nhat Hanh mindful movements. And I know I've done these in my classes before. This is the book. I think it's a children's book because the pictures are very, very childlike in their ways. But it's a nice book. These movements they practice daily. There's also a DVD in this book, and we're going to do those. So
what's it called, Nina?
Yes.
What is it called?
Mindful Movements by Thich Nhat Hanh.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's darling. Yeah.
It is. It's really darling.
I'm always looking for good gifts for the nieces.
And I use it all the time. In my own practice, when I'm teaching others, I love it. So yeah, totally worth it. Especially because, they're not hard, but they force you to be present. And that's what I love. So come to a comfortable stance. Maybe your feet are a little wider than your Tadasana. Yeah. And the first move, so what's going to happen? I'll show you the movement and then we'll do it 4 times together. I mean, you can run along the first time, but we'll do 4 in the zone. Okay. So the first movement, the inhale is going to take our arms up to shoulder height, palms down. And the exhale is going to bring them right back down. We'll do it 4 times in a row. And let's try it with the super slow breath. So when you're ready, it's that inhale. And exhale. Let the knees be soft and know that if you go faster or slower than I go, that's perfectly normal. And pause after that last exhale. If you need to make any movements, go ahead. Come back to normal breath if that feels right. The next move is that the arms are going to go all the way up. You can turn the palms to face each other, or you can keep those palms forward. Now I have my camera down a little bit, so you're going to lose my hands at the top, but you know where we're going. So again, that comfortable stance, we'll do 4 together. If you feel comfortable, you can always close your eyes when you're ready. And then pause and release. A little bit more light here. Okay, next round, our fingertips start at our shoulders. Again, a comfortable stance. You can keep your knees soft. The inhale is going to open the arms wide, palms are up. Exhale brings it in. Yeah, easy. 4. When you're ready, inhale. And exhale. And when you've completed it, just release those arms back down. Take a breath in normal breathing. Okay, this next sequence is a 2-breath sequence. It gets into the shoulder, so be gentle with yourself. The inhale is going to circle us up, and then the exhale lets that, you'll feel an opening across the front of the chest. So that would be the inhale and the exhale, and then inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, bring it down. Let's just start with the arms down. I think that's just a little easier on the arms. So we're going to do it 4 times, but now that's 8 breaths. See that math there? When you're ready, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Round 2. And when you finish, just pause. Notice what's going on in the shoulders now. Things are starting to move around. Okay, this next one is also a 2-breath sequence. We have that comfortable stance. I would say bring your hands to your hips. And really what we're going to do is move the upper body around. So 2 breaths. So the inhale will go to your left and back. And then the exhale brings you forward. And then we inhale back to the right. And exhale, come forward. So knees are soft, and this is, a lot of hip movement, hip swiveling. We're getting into the hips now. Be kind to your back. The circle can be as large or as small as you need. When you're ready, we'll do it 4 times. Inhale. Exhale, close the circle. My knees are super soft and bending. Inhale, back to the right. And exhale. And then finish. Let the arms go. Notice how it feels. Number 6 is a lot like what we were doing before in our previous class, but we're going to start with our heels together and come up onto the toes. So the movement, this is the inhale, and the exhale bends the knees wide, a little froggy kind of stance, and then inhale, come back up. So that's where we're going. You can always use the wall as a support. Never a bad idea. So we'll take ourselves up. And now let's take that slow inhale. This is just a 1 breath, 1 movement. And then the exhale bends the knees, a little frog motion. Round 2. Then straighten the legs and lower the heels. Pause for a moment, wiggle those hips, notice how things feel. Okay. So, how are you with a forward bend? Forward fold, are you okay? Okay. So that's what this one is. And I would say knees are soft. The inhale is going to reach the arms up, whatever up is. The exhale takes us into that fold. And then the inhale brings us right back up. Don't go too fast. Don't push the breath. We don't want anybody getting dizzy. And if it's too much, then we just fold to a chair seat. So when you're ready, inhale. Exhale, soften the knees. Take the fold. Inhale brings it back up. And we fold the second time. And then just make your way back up to standing when you've completed it. Float your arms down. Notice how that makes you feel. Okay, mindful movement number 8. There's 10 all told. This is another one where a wall chair support is a good one because we're going to shift weight side to side. So what happens, we start here with our feet parallel. The inhale will pick up one knee, and the exhale will extend it. Then we inhale, bend, exhale, lower, weight shifts, inhale, other leg. So now that's going to be 4 breaths per round. Doing the math again, that's me, baby. That's 16 breaths. So we're going to do it 4 times. Just slow down the breath. You're not married to that long count thing, right? We just want it slow and even. When you're ready, We lift. We extend. The leg can be extended, as low or as high as you like. We bend it. We bring it down and shift. And then that inhale brings up the other knee. That's one round. And this is one of those sequences where the slower we go, really, the more work we are doing. And that just means that when we get into our next restorative pose, we will rest even better. Round 3. Hands can be wherever you want, the hips, the heart, just floating down. And then once you've lowered that foot for the last time, make any moves that you need to do to release any tension we may have created. And where are we on now? Oh yes, we're on number 9. Okay, this is another, I don't know, a lot of breaths in this one with our hands at our hips. Again, we're going to shift one side to the other. So we'll start with your right hand. The inhale is going to take that leg forward and back, and you can lower the toes. And then exhale, come forward and put it back where it belongs. And then inhale the left leg back and exhale. So that's 2 breaths per round. I got this. Okay, soft knees. It's a little easier if the feet are a little closer together, right? As we shift the weight, we don't have to go from side to side. Now, both feet are kind of underneath us, hands at hips when you're ready. Inhale that right leg forward, around, and back. And the exhale will bring it forward and then park it. We switch to the other side. And if you don't want to tap the toe down, you want to keep it up, you can do that as well. Round 2. Round 3. Pause when you're finished. Okay. The last and final one. Probably easier. We take a comfortable stance with our feet a little wider than our hips and just step 1 foot back. So kind of warrior 1-ish, but not necessarily warrior 1. we do this one side at a time. So in this case, my foot that is forward is, in this case, this is my left foot. And as I bend that left knee, I'm gonna reach the left arm up and look up. And then the exhale will bring it down. I'm gonna do that 4 times on this side and then switch and we'll do 4 times on the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, bend the knee, reach it up, look up. And exhale, straighten the leg, flip the arm down, gaze can lower. When you finish that side, step the back foot forward and then step back with the other leg. So again, just do one for free. That knee bends, the arm comes up, the exhale brings it back down. We'll do 4. When you're ready, inhale. Exhale. And then just pause when you've finished. Yeah, taking your time. Come back to a comfortable Tadasana, maybe a little wider than normal. Take a moment to notice, pause and notice how all of that sits with you. Has it, first of all, brought you to the present moment? And then allowed you to find a sense of calm. So that's the hope. Now we're going to make our way back down to the mat. Just as, come down to your back if you can, just as comfortably, as graciously, however you want to get there, right? Ooh, here we go. Hug it in, hug the knees in, rock side to side, in case there's any tension in that lower back. I, of course, have had lower back issues, so I'm very sensitive about that. And I want to make sure that everybody's happy with their lower backs. So I always like, let's make sure it's happy. And then when you feel comfortable, push yourself up to seated for a moment, and we'll go to ramp, by golly. And there we go. So I've got this really nice ramp here. We have a couple of options. Boy, and not a lot of time. Time flies when you're having mindful fun, huh? Okay, so let's build that ramp. Let's get an inversion since we spend so much time on our feet, which is not a normal restorative thing. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put our bottom at the base of this. My bum is on the floor. My legs are going to go up. I've got this blanket here, and it's that Tadasana blanket, and I'm going to wrap it around my shins. So it's tucked under there, not to keep me warm because that's not what I'm going for, but I could go for that as well. But when I come down onto my back, when these thighs start to relax and soften, they won't be able to fall off this ramp. And that's a nice thing. So that's what that blanket is doing. You could use a strap, even a hand towel from your bathroom to do that, to tuck them in. Once you've got your legs set up, oh boy, do something with your arms, right? Let them rest alongside the body, palms are up. Or if you'd rather rest your hands on your belly, on your rib cage, that's okay too. That's a really nice way to track the breath. But we're just letting the breath come naturally now. We're going to rest here. We're going to be here for about 6 minutes. It's a nice gentle inversion. And all of that time that we spend on our feet, this is a nice time to just let those fluids that collect in the feet, in the ankles, in the shins and calves, and get that ride down into the torso, into the organs that clean. So rest here. Let your jaw be soft as you rest. So we don't want to hang on to tension. And I will let you know when it's time to move again. Let's bring a little bit of motion into the head and neck right now, just real gentle movements. And then let head and neck be still and wiggle your toes. And then you might want to like kind of bend your knees a little bit to loosen up that blanket that's been wrapped over you, if there is one. And then we'll bring the knees in. Bring the knees into the body. And we're going to make our way to one side or the other. So just go to one side, pause there. Again, finding equilibrium again once we're on our side. And then we use our arms, top arm first, and then the bottom arm to help push ourselves up. We find that place where we can let the glitter settle. Now keep this wonderful ramp right here, and we're gonna turn our bodies around. So now my back is to it. My bottom is still on the ground. My back is to my ramp. If we are able, we bring the soles of the feet together. They don't need to be real close into the body. Give yourself space. Find length in the spine. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, just start to hinge forward. Just bringing a little bit of a forward fold into this practice. We don't need to round the spine. Just finding this hinge. If it feels like you want to take a forward fold, you want to drop your head into the soles of your feet, go ahead. But wherever we are, we lengthen that spine. Now find the length in the spine. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring that belly button back to the spine and very gently with that tall spine, make your way back up to seated. Take your hands, palms up, and very gently guide the knees up, feet come to the floor. Hands come down to the mat. And then lower yourself down onto your ramp. Long spine, long spine, long spine. Okay, once your back is down, again, if you're cold, you can always use your blanket to cover you up. Then you need to decide what to do with your legs. So lots of choices. Legs can be long, toes fluffed open if that feels okay. You can do a little crisscross applesauce. I kind of like that. Soles together, knees apart, what we were just doing sitting up. Or you can take your feet a little wider than your hips. Let the thighs rest on each other, just as we started. With your arms, if it feels comfortable, let the arms rest on the ground, palms up. And we have about 4 or 5 minutes to rest here. Let the tongue rest in that lower arch of the jaw and soften the skin around the mouth and the eyes. Allow your breath to come naturally. Don't manage it. Don't count it. Just let it be. And these next few minutes just for you to relax. I am keeping track of the time. I'll let you know when it's time to move again. start to make your breath just a little bit deeper. And bring your awareness back to that room where you're practicing. And really, even though we're separate, we are practicing together, which is amazing and awesome and wonderful. So, yeah, there's a lot of lousy stuff about electronics and all that stuff, but it does allow us to connect. Bring a little motion into your head and neck. Wiggle fingers and toes, wrists, ankles. Just wake up the body, bring it back to life. And if you want to take a good morning stretch from where you are, go ahead. And then bend the knees, gather them in, and make your way to your right side. Whether you stay on that ramp or move to the floor, it does not matter. Make yourself comfortable. Again, finding that equilibrium. And when you're ready, there's no hurry. Come on back up to seated. Yay. So the words in the camera are there, but your face is here. That's why I get all confused here. But I'm glad that you're here. Let's bring those palms together in front of the heart center. Let's connect. And recall the intention that you said at the beginning of our class. And Carol, thank you so much for joining me. An honor to be here with you. Thank you so much. I will say namaste. You can unmute. We can say goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nina. What a wonderful class.
Have a good rest of your week.
You too.
And I'll miss you.
And I agree. The Zoom, while it might have felt odd at first, we've all gotten to be skilled and it's kept us together. I mean, it's just
right. So you can't say, oh, stay away from screens, because the screens are really important right now.
Screens have sustained us all, students and families this year. So
right. And we have to just be mindful of